How's everybody doing? We're really excited about the beginning of the season. Really excited. We got a really strong opponent to start off with. Looking at the Raiders' defense, they got talent everywhere. They play extremely hard. They're very well coached, very experienced defensive coordinator, and we know we got our work cut out for us. But we're very excited about the challenge. Any questions?
What are the challenges of a Patrick Graham defense?
I think he's always got the flip side of the coin. He might try to show you something and try to get you to buy into that. Then he'll flip the switch on you. He definitely has a lot of different defensive approaches that he can tap into. So he's very multiple, sound. They play extremely hard up front, led by 98 Crosby. Obviously, I think everybody has worlds of respect for him and how he plays. So we're going to have to, he's the kind of guy that can wreck the game if you let him. So you need to take that into account.
Greg, how different is this Chargers offense from others that you've coached in the NFL?
It's too early to tell. I think we're starting out. It's a one game approach. We'll have our game plan for this game and go out and do whatever it takes to try to win that game. And then I think it'll be an evolution process. I really think we'll be able to answer that question more as we go, Again, offensive football, 11 people executing together. We got an incredible quarterback. We all know that. The entire offense needs to function to have an effective offense.
Through the preseason and camp, have things stood out to you, position groups, players, throughout this offseason?
Yeah, I gotta say all of them have come a light years from where we were in the spring. The offensive line, the communication, the ability to make adjustments, the tight ends are very often incorporated into that. The running backs, never really talked about, but they're so key, even when the ball's not in their hand, whether it be pass protection or in the passing game. So our wide receivers, same thing there. So yeah, I think everybody's moving forward. We just got to keep pushing, keep chasing it.
Just as far as running back rotation, we haven't seen obviously J.K. and Gus in the preseason at all. How do you sort of approach that? Is it a feed both of them early and see who's rolling type situation? How do you sort of deal with the running back rotation?
Yeah, we don't overthink that. They're both gonna play, and whoever's got the hot hand, as I always tell them, has got the hot hand. So we're gonna go with the hot hand. And they know that, and they get that. So it's really nothing scientific.
Does that sort of carry over to red zone snaps as well, or is Gus more of that, I guess, goal line type back size?
Obviously, both of them are really good in short yardage goal line situations. I wouldn't try to pigeonhole one of them.
Was that the way you ran in Baltimore? Similar kind of deal where whoever was
Pretty much, yeah. It's a teamwork. It's teamwork. This guy might need a blow, so boom, and then he gets hot. Ride that pony for a little while, and then boom, and then just back and forth, teamwork.
So they know what to expect.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course.
One has the edge over the other as far as catching the ball out of the backfield, or?
No, I don't think so. I think they're both really good at it. They have different styles, but both very effective. I can show, Gus has had big plays in the passing game. J.K. has as well. So, I definitely think we expect them to be able to do everything as they can. We don't want to just say, oh, no, we don't want him on that play, because then eventually the defense is going to know that as well. So we like backs that can perform multitask. So we're counting on them for every phase.
Where have you seen Joe Alt take the biggest leap during training camp? Get ready for the season.
I'll tell you what, great question. Really, it's been a steady, inch by inch, life is a cinch program for him. He's been working hard and working through all the it's a really tough journey as a rookie to make that climb during training camp, and he's been every single day just incrementally getting 1% better. That's the plan for the whole season. We're starting off this season, and I think he's a lot further along than he was when he first got here. but it's a credit to him and his approach in a day-to-day basis.
You mentioned Max Crosby. I mean, everyone knows how great of a rusher he is.
Oh, yeah.
For that matchup for Joe as a rookie.
Oh, yeah.
His first NFL game.
Welcome to the NFL.
What about his mentality that you've learned that makes you confident he's ready to handle whatever comes to him on?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to blink at anything. I mean, there's going to be things that come up for everybody. Football's an imperfect game, and you try to be perfect, but there's going to be things that come up, and then you got to be able to fix them and move on and adjust. So I don't think he's going to be too wide-eyed at anything. You know, he's the kind of guy that if something happens, he'll come back and talk through it, reason it out, and figure out a solution. You know, and those are the guys that generally continue to ascend.
Okay, what are those the styles? J.K. and Gus, you talked about their different styles. What are their styles? How are they different? Why do they work well together?
I mean, I just think they're both really good running backs. I think they have a passion for the game. They take pride in yards gained when not blocked perfectly, or, you know, yards after contact, or, you know, being able to see the defense does something you don't expect and the hole's not where you thought it would be, them hitting that hole. You know, they take a lot of pride in that. So, and I think they constantly push each other in that regard, you know, setting the bar a little bit higher. But, you know, relentlessly competitive.
With J.K., whenever we talk to him, he always seems to talk about how he's out to prove something, and he knows the injury the injury label is on him.
Yeah.
Have you seen that at practice? You know, is he more motivated than you've seen him before?
No, I don't think he's more motivated. I just think he's further down the road, more experienced, different perspective. You know, sometimes those hardships create a great appreciation for, you know, being healthy and ready to roll. And I think he's always felt that way, but, you know, it magnifies it. So, you know, he's responded exactly how you would hope somebody would have, the level of competitor that he is.
How much for the yards if the play isn't blocked perfectly? Do you guys actually like measure that? I know there's stats out there like yards over expectation and stuff
Sure.
like that, but internally, do you guys?
Oh yeah, we're aware of it. I mean, it's not something we fixate on, but, you know, we know it when we see it, and we can definitely point that out. But you know, being able to announce the measurement of that after it takes place is, anybody can do that, but trying to push forward to maximize and take advantage of those opportunities is really what's special about them, you know, on the front end.
So it's more like, I guess, anecdotal versus like, oh, like on the season you've gained 80 yards more than plays were blocked for. Like, it's,
yeah, I mean, I think that's a reference point, and if it's an outlier, if it's too extreme one way or the other, it's something to look into. It's a reference point, but, you know, you can just see it with your own eyes, you know. Man, what a great adjustment on that run. Holy cow, he was one-on-one with this guy and did this and got another 9 yards, that kind of thing, you know.
With Vegas' pass rush, how much more potent is it now having Wilkins on the other side?
Yeah, they'll move those guys around. They'll play on either side, so you really don't know where they're going to be. But they're really good players. I mean, Wilkins, he went to Suffield Prep and I think Clemson, and then he's with the Dolphins. He's a great player, and we all know that. So we had to go back and look at some Miami film. They're really relentless pass rush. We've been looking at that here for a while now. So we got our hands full, and certain guys like Maxx Crosby, who have such a unique style, you've got to kind of combat it with a unique style of blocking. You know, if you try to block him like you might block somebody else, it's square peg, round hole. So you got to take a unique approach against a unique opponent.
And then just how different is Vegas' defensive scheme that you've seen from the preseason of last year? Because I know Marvin Lewis is a full-time assistant with them now,
Sure.
and they've made some changes to the staff.
No question, great coach, Marvin Lewis. They got a lot of great coaches on that staff, and it's the first game of the season. So the thing we always talk about is, I always tell the young coaches, do not ever say always or never, because it's the first game of the season. They could have a completely new scheme. They could have this approach. They could do this approach. Everything's possible. It's the first game. So we got to be ready for whatever happens and play really good winning football. But that's a key thing to an opening game, is don't assume that you know, because they had all that time to doctor stuff up if they want to. And, they're certainly not going to run that stuff in a preseason game.
Just on that point, and going back to Wilkins, I mean, how much unknown is there as far as how his presence in the interior is going to affect what they do with Max?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it definitely kind of multiplies what they can do and the different combinations they can build. They didn't play a ton in the preseason, but, they're really, really good players, and you got to be ready for them for both on one side, splitting them, flipping them, whatever happens, they could be anywhere. But, really good football players that, we got to really, really get after.
Great. How much you looking forward to see Justin in action?
Can't wait to see it. Excited for him. We know what a great player he is, and really excited about him being out there at practice, at meetings, anywhere. This guy, his approach to the game is awesome, and it's going to be an interesting journey this year as we move through the season and evolve and adapt and grow and whatnot. We've come a long way, but can't wait to see the big fella out there under center.
You guys have talked a lot about identity and mentality this offseason, especially up front, building the run game. How important is this first game in building that identity and mentality that you guys want to have?
It's the first game. And, I've had first games where we ran for 50 yards and won the game because we had to go about it a different way and vice versa. So it's absolutely not something that you just say, oh, this is who we are after week one. That's very far from it, I've learned. So it's an opportunity to go out and win a football game and play our style and play winning football. But, we should continue to evolve week after week after week after week, and that's the goal. So week one's a starting point, and it's a big game. So that's all our focus is on that. So the other answer to your question is it's the only thing that matters right now to us is how we perform this week.
Right, probably not the wall question, but the league has mandated cameras in the coaching booths this year, probably the little ones, but is there more?
I can't be throwing stuff around, throwing.
Is there more of a paranoia factor maybe, right? Don't go Ken Dorsey, the Miami a couple years ago.
Ken's a great coach.
Right, but that kind of,
Yeah.
with the cameras.
Yeah, I generally, it's good to know though. Thanks for reminding me. I'll remember that. Appreciate that.
Check the towel over it, like the hockey players do when they go to the penalty box.
Done that before.
I mean, is there a paranoia factor into the, with those cameras in the booth, like if they catch you like in the midst of doing a play call or anything, like?
Not really. At times you cover your mouth, but quite a bit, and but yeah, I mean, I think you're aware of it, but if they can figure out what I'm saying, God bless them.